Hello friends and welcome, it's wonderful to have you here. Thank you for taking time to join me today. I'm Mordheim, we are playing Mordheim City of the Damned, and I'm coming at you today with a heavy melee unit Skaven build. So this build is inspired by Don Carlos, and basically what you're trying to do is stack as much damage as you possibly can. So let's jump right in here. I'm actually going to start with the skills today, and then we'll double back to the equipment and the stats. So first off, Daredevil, and all of these are mastered. So Daredevil increases melee damage by 125%, but reduces melee resist by 15%. Each melee attack triggers a free dodge attempt from the attack. So that gives you 125% extra damage. If you destroy your target and there's no other enemies within ranged, it doesn't matter if your melee resistance is reduced. Next one up here is Mighty Charge. So what you're going to do when you start your turn off is you're going to cast Daredevil. That's going to cost you 3 red pills, so you'll be down to 6. You're going to cast Frenzy. Now, this is increased melee damage by 30%, and magic resistance by 10%. Will always counterattack when available, prevents the use of ranged weapons, stands to spells, most non-combat actions. Now, this is fairly important. This persists until the user is stunned, out of action, or there are no enemies in sight at the start of turn. So you need to be a little bit careful with that. You really have to commit with this build once you swing in. And then the other active skill that costs 3 red pills is Mighty Charge. This charges an enemy at normal range plus 4 meters. The charge has a minus 30% chance to hit, deals plus 100% damage, my goodness, and bypasses 20% of the target's parry chance. So this comes in really hard. Now you can see I've maxed out my strength. Actually, I don't want to get into that yet. Let's look at the passive skills. The Black Skaven, which you can see here, Hero Black Skaven, is Perfect Killer, which is 10% armor bypass. Now the passives that I've chosen, you can actually, these are sort of flex skills, you can pick what you like. I picked Bold Charge, so you're going to have another 6 meters. So Mighty Charge gives you 4 meters, Bold Charge gives you another 6, and our normal movement is 8 meters. So you're talking 18 meters of charge distance. So you can cover so much ground when you Mighty Charge with this build. And then the other one I picked was Strider, which gives you an extra 20% hit chance. Now you can see here the Mighty Charge is at a minus 30% chance to hit. So that Strider kind of helps you to pad the numbers a little bit. One alternate you could also do is Assault, and that gives you extra crit chance instead of chance to hit. So that's kind of up to you. I think the extra hit chance is better than the extra crit chance, just because this build really hits like a truck when it hits. So you just need to make sure that you can connect. All right, let's go over the equipment here. I've got a Halberd of Expertise, and the Expertise rune gives you another 12% melee hit chance. Again, we're just trying to focus on getting our Mighty Charge to connect. Light Armor of Strength, that's just to crank up the strength value, try to do as much damage in that initial volley as possible. And a Helmet of Celerity. Now the initiative that this gives us, the hope is that you can swing in and take out your opponent before they have a chance to act on the melee or the initiative ladder. My goodness, words. So, first and foremost, for skill or point attribution, stat attribution, you're going to want to max out your strength at 15, and our armor bumps us up to 19. That's a good thing. And I dumped the rest into toughness. I actually used a physical grimoire because we didn't have enough points. This was stuck at 8, and I needed 9 to max out, which was it, Frenzy. And so you can crank this up a little higher with that grimoire. Now, Alertness is what I maxed out in the mental category. This increases our initiative, and so I was trying to max out our initiative so that we can act before our enemies have a chance to. And I chose to split it fairly evenly between intelligence and leadership. Leadership, of course, gives you a better chance to pass psychological tests and cranks up the morale a little bit, which I don't care about too much for this build. And then the intelligence gives you things like spell resistance and stun resistance. Now in the martial category, I put almost everything into weapon skill, and what that gives us is extra melee hit chance, and also some melee resistance and parry chance. We don't care so much about that, but there you go. You get it anyway. And then I put a few points a little bit less into accuracy, and that's just going to crank up our critical hit chance and critical hit damage. So that is the kind of the blood and guts of this build. Again, it was inspired by Don Carlos, and let me go through just a damage hypothetical for you. So our damage right now is starting at 88 to 94. Daredevil's going to give you 125% to that damage additional. Mighty Charge is another 100%. Frenzy gives you 30%, and your strength, I think, let's see, it's melee damage plus 3% times 19, just shy of 60% more. So you can see where this would really start to add up. I'm just doing a back of the cuff. That's about 400% of your normal damage. So instead of almost 100, you'd be doing almost 400 with every hit. And it really, really just hits like a truck. So some synergies that you can use with this build, quick before I go. You could have a Eshin Sorcerer cast Enshrouding Mist, which says the opponents get a minus 30% melee resist chance. And the Skaven are not affected by it. So you can, if they've got a really high melee resistance, think Sisters of Sigmar, you could cast Enshrouding Mists first with your caster. Make sure your caster has higher initiative than these Black Skaven. And then, of course, you can do your Mighty Charge after you do Daredevil and Frenzy and just blast them. You're going to connect and do so much damage. And then another thing you can do is with your leader, use the skill Order. Let's pull that up. Apparently, this guy does not have access to Order, but essentially you can spend some red pills with your leader to force another unit to attack again. And this guy attacks so very hard. All this stuff, like Frenzy, is going to keep running. Mighty Charge won't kick in, but Daredevil will kick in. So you can sort of force another attack with Daredevil when usually these guys would be out of red pills. So I hope you enjoyed this build. I certainly enjoyed making it. Thank you to Don Carlos for the inspiration. And let me know if you guys have any other ideas on builds. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.